Live here at Webster Timber Lanes in Abington, Massachusetts. Warm-ups are currently in progress, but in just a moment we will get started with the first round of Eliminator coverage here on Candlepin Bowling Network. My name is Greg Gouillart. Alongside me, our executive producer, Bob Lee.
Hey, Greg.
Hello, Bob. So our teams have been sorted. We apologize for the slightly helter-skelter stream, but we wanted to show you the full team raffle drawings. So remember, 24 players qualified after a 5-string qualifier, and the teams are as follows. We have Douglas Fuller Jr. and Austin Barnes. We have Dave Barber, Ed Woodside, and Josh Daly. Justin Waters, Matt Nichols, Justin Lyonese, Danny Harris, Cody 50, Mark Smith, Sean Baker, Jeff Walsh, and Nick Freshy Zuffalato, Corey Packard, Craig Holbrook, and Corrado Pani, Keith Beaupre, Sean Taylor, Ryan Drago, who you just saw with a thrilling single-string win over A.J. Stockton, and Tim Jalbert, and Jimbo Ayotte, and Mike Legender.
You want to try that remote cam, Greg, and see how that's. See if we can see lanes 17 through 20.
All right.
All right. It's elimination.
All right.
Okay. Greg, I'm going to go down to lanes 17 through 20 on our left, and I'll come back and give you updates every 5 strings.
Please do, Bob. Sounds good. All right. Here we go. We're underway. This is a 1-string eliminator, so 8 teams are in action right now. We featured 2 teams, including Nick Zuffalato, you see here, and Austin Barnes on lane 21. They'll be our featured matchup, but keep in mind the top 4 across the entire field will advance, and Bob Lee will be roving around and giving you all updates as soon as reasonably possible. Here's Freshy shooting the wood, and it's gone. Aim for the wood in front of the 10, and that's a winner to start out. And Barnes begins with a 9. You see all lanes in action. We've pulled it all out so that you can all see. Corrado Pani just started off with a spare. It's the only mark I see with an eye shot, apart from this one from Zuffalato. Filling now. He had a super duper good 141 at one point. 141 in the 4th, which helped propel him into 18th position to qualify here. Got the spread eagle on the first ball, too bad. Accurate again on the second. But spread eagles only go about 1% of the time, no mark. Barnes steamrolling the wood, but he misses the head pin a second time. Well, 3 accurate shots from Freshy. That's an 8-box. And Zuffalato has 22 through 2. Barnes almost pushing his elbow into the shot. It's a fantastic and largely effective delivery. Austin Barnes currently running 13th in the Pro Series. Nick Zuffalato, who does great work maintaining this tournament, 19th place. He's got the horseman left side.
Nice ball, Austin.
Austin Barnes, 6 down.
Can I put this in?
Yeah, no problem. Zuffalato on the head pin. The wood doesn't quite push into the 7. No can do. Speed League style, we'll see these bowlers for 5 at a time, including that great spare for Austin Barnes. And then the other 2 bowlers, these are 3-man teams. Nice 10 for Zuffalato. 32 through 3. You see the 8 lanes in action here. Remember, the top 4 totals, this is an eliminator, not a knockout. These two teams are not head-to-head per se, but the top 4 total combined score for one string will advance. So look at those totals on your screen, and we'll keep you posted on other teams' totals as we go across. That's a monster hit by Zuffalato. Barnes filling a spare with 5. That's a great bounce back shot by Barnes back to back. Both these bowlers heating up. Looking over at Pani, he's just dumped 58 on a strike at his half. Drago just advanced on a thrilling knockout match against a formidable AJ Stockton. Hey, a double strike! A brilliant dandy to sit down on for Zuffalato. Barnes, who's also on a heater of his own. That's 8 on it, and a chance to go 3 in a row. To the left of Barnes, you saw Drago dump 10 pins on the plate tremendously. Barnes missed the object, and the wood did not spin back, unfortunately, so no mark there. He'll still nonetheless have it north of a 60 half. In his random team's quest to become one of the top 4 out of 8. So I'll show you this view just to give you a lay of the land. Remember, it's 3-man teams, 1 string, eliminator top 4 out of 8. This is Jeff Walsh on your right side on lane 22, into the head pin and leaving triangle number 3. Brian Fuller Jr., who finished in 9th place, we called out a number of his hot strings, 129, 127, 132, 106, and 128. Hello, Bob Lee.
Hey, Greg, we got a couple updates. Mike Legendre and Josh Daly, JT Liney's, and Ryan Drago finished their first box. They're the number 1 bowlers on the first 4 teams to our left. Big score there. Ryan Drago with 2 spares and a strike. He's at 59 plus 2 balls. JT Liney's at 43. Josh Daly finished on with a pair of spares. He's at 58 and a ball. Mike Legendre started things with a spare but finished with a 42.
Thank you very much. Walsh 9 and Fuller 10 to begin.
Another update on the 2 lanes to our right. Looks like C-. Karatapani had 58 plus 2 balls. He's up there with Drago, the number 1 bowler on the team with Craig Holbrook and Corey Packard. And Cody 50 leading off with a Mark Smith and Danny 47 open, but 4 10s and a 7. That's Danny Harris.
Thought as much. Danny Harris had been dominating throughout today as well. He ended up in 4th place. Jeff Walsh 618, started with a 150, then 93, 134, 111, 130, and that's how you see him here. 10 for him, 9 for Fuller. And we'll continue to apprise you on the entire team, on the entire field's progress as we go along. Sean Baker and Tim Douglas to come. Fuller looked like he buried it, but the 5-8-10 stares back at him. What doesn't look impossible, it looks angled poorly, if I had to say. Too bad. Accurate, but nothing there. Oh, too bad for Fuller. He's twice accurate, nothing to show for it, unfortunately. But in a crowded field event, every pin could matter here, and he's staying consistent, if nothing else. The announcer said, putting the kibosh on him, but a respectable 9. 8 for Walsh, that's 27. Mark Smith looking over has also doubled in his first 2 boxes. He's on 53 in the 4th, having closed the action there. He unfortunately got a 22 in the first strike, so not full effect, but still a tremendous start. Walsh is looking at a good leave here. 10-pin stands back. Fuller took out 3 in the first shot. Walsh using the wood, it spins over, it's gone. As this quintessential candle pin, the pins have been fussy all day. I don't fault Walsh one bit for playing the wood on that. Fuller, this is one of the most interesting outs in the game, trying to slice the head pin this way and that. Unfortunately, only comes away with 5. Again, thank you very much to everyone watching live on Facebook and YouTube at Candlepin Bowling Network. Please like and share this video so that everyone knows that this game is around. I mean, obviously we have a lot of videos, but as much visibility as we can get for each of our broadcasts is greatly appreciated. And a big hit for Fuller Jr. And he sits down on a strike. As the always ball is in full effect. Walsh needs an out. So remember, this is the round of 8. We will then have the round of 4 and 2 coming up, as it'll be top 4 of 8 advancing to the next round here. Now then, that's 2. 41.5. Give you all a quick extra look at what's coming up. That's the view I'd like you to see. Look at all those strikes hanging up on the board here. These 2 teams in particular are close. I see 104 and a strike elsewhere by the team headed by Corey Packard. Corey Packard, I beg your pardon. That's Sean Baker on lane 22. You see him taking out 5. Tim Douglas, who's been top of the shop, 672, 154, 138, 125, 108, and 147. And here's Bob Lee.
Yeah, big side from Jimbo Ayotte. You saw when Tim Jalbert picked his number 2 man, it was Jimbo Ayotte. They were both cheering because they're buddies on the Academy 2 team. Anyway, Jimbo just made a beautiful 4-7-10 split on a strike. Followed that up with another spare 73 at the half with a 10. He's open. So 73 plus Mike Legendre is 42 there. Daly and Woodside put up a 42. Daly had a 58 in that. Dave Barber is coming up next there. Justin Waters' team. Matt Nichols was frustrated, had a 48 with 1 mark and a 4 fill. Sean Taylor with a 57 to go with Ryan Drago's 59 and 2 balls. And that's the Keith Beaupre team. They got a good lead. Over on our right, Craig Holbrook put up a 46. He was open, 4 9s and a 10, and that looks like Mark Smith with a 62 behind a strike. Looks like a pair of strikes there, but a 2 fill, 22 in the first box.
Thank you very much, Bob. Tim Douglas with a good look at the 2-4. A lot of data overload here, but that's how it is with these crowded field events. We looking forward to bringing you coverage, especially in the later rounds when things thin out a bit. You might have heard a groan on camera. That was Corey Packard looking skyward at a shot he thought he had. That's Sean Baker completing a 10. Having only left 1 pin standing, likewise with Tim Douglas, with that pin being his first standing. Sean Baker finished 5th, partnered with Jeff Walsh and Nick Zuffalato, 634. For the man who seems to be featured on our broadcasts with a healthy regularity these days. Oh, the powerful balls like that from Tim Douglas are the reason he's top of the shop. Baker had 130, 131, 117, 110, and 146 on the end. Well, hey, there we go. It was accurate. He's got the shot. Put the spare on the board for Baker. Douglas just wide on the left side against that treacherous 10-pin. We'll let the spin sweep take care of that one. Still only 2 pins left standing. Keith Beaupre, one lane over on lane 20 to our left. 47 and a strike in the third. Dave Barber, who is also off to a great start there. He finished in second place, one of the Pro Series organizers, and he's got 46 in a ball through 3. Bakersfield, monstrous, the perfect one. Strike on spare. Douglas, 610. Douglas had it. The wood was a bit treacherous, but he powers through. His first mark after resilient pinning. Top 4 of 8 advance. We are live on Facebook and YouTube on Candlepin Bowling Network. Please tell your friends. And watch Sean Baker fill this. It's head pin. It's full, unfortunately. And the wood sits nice and pretty. There are 2 pieces. It could potentially confound the shot. Douglas's spare fill wayward. It's the old lemon drop, I'm afraid. Just the one. And perfect for Baker. Spare on strike, and Sean Baker will sit down on that. Zuffalato about to get up on a double strike. Douglas unfortunately gets 6. We've had those moments right here where pins are tough to come by. Webster has this way of getting to you when you least expect it. Great center here. You see the highest numbered lanes, all 24 of them, here in Abington, Massachusetts. Great place. John, a great owner. I had the pleasure of meeting him just a moment ago. Very helpful as well with getting us set up and ready to go. And without further ado, here is Nick Zuffalato on a double strike. Now, 21 on the first one. Nobody tell Paul Grant. Barnes has the 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. Zuffalato now on his second strike. We'll watch these second balls. Bob Lee will have an update in just a moment. And the second strike fill will be a 5, I'm afraid. So 15 in the second strike box, and Barnes will have no mark. Bob.
All right, the Keith Beaupre finished with a 68. His team's at 184 plus 3 balls. Strike for Drago and a spare for Taylor. After that, we had Tim Jalbert threw 4 10s and a 9. They're at 164. Dave Barber came out hot with 3 spares in a row. Missed a 9 drop, but finished with a 72. So his team's at 172 plus a ball. Those are the top 2 teams out of the 4 on our left. On our left, you were just hearing about C minus. I believe I'll get you an estimated midpoint. You know, wherever the 4 of these teams are not going to make it to the next round, and I'll try to make an estimate of that in a second. Al Blanchard.
Corrado's on 87 in the 6th. I just calculated.
Yep. Corey Packard with a 50. And Danny Harris with a 48 on their side. So those 2 teams are going to be near the bubble.
Top 4 of 8 advance in the field. You see all the lanes in action here. 1 team per lane. Simple as that.
Actually, yeah, that double by C minus is probably going to put them in safely above there. So I'll find your estimated cut now, Greg, and go on with match in front.
We just saw Zuffalato with a spare. His 4th marks, back-to-back strikes in the 4th and 5th, excuse me, and now spares in the 1st and 7th. Barnes, who's had 2 marks already, just got robbed of a 3rd as he hit the end of the cap and the ball deflected away. It will be 9, brings up his 80 in just the 7th box. That's more like it. Zavalato, a head pin. Pin's tip now. That 2-pin dropping could be big for the shot. It simplifies it. He does end up with 7. Those extra pins also counting against the bonus. 92 through 7. What looks pretty horizontal for Freshie. He's finding a vertical piece of wood and unfortunately doesn't get the physics he's after. That is the 9-pin back there, so Barnes has a chance. 2, 4, 7, 9 is brilliant! What a shot by Barnes! 90 plus through 8. Zavalato with the perfect out, that's 10. Brings up his century in just the 8th. Barnes could do the same if he strikes atop this spare. See the totals updating at the top of your screen. And Bob Lee and roving around looking to keep you apprised as well amid this flurry of action here in Abington. Zavalato now then, what is that? I thought he got it perfect, but he got the 4, 7, 9, and 10. Did not see the angle in the pocket perfect. Barnes almost did get a strike. The 7-pin won't even cooperate, unfortunately for Barnes. It's a case of good fill, bad leave. Too bad. Wood is available there, but he's going to have to really snap this. It's a very slightly front left to back right. Zavalado's got a puzzle as well. He's going rightward. The left piece of wood was hanging slightly over the channel and might have gotten hung up, so he didn't want to opt for that, but unfortunately comes up empty. Barnes slams into the wood, was hoping for some sort of sidewall deflection, nothing doing. Zavalato does well to get the pins in front. Brings up the 110 in the 9th. Barnes will stick with the 9 he had. 220, a very good total right now. Corrado's final string ended up with a 128 after that double strike. Hollywood Smith ended up with a 125 all told. Excuse me, that's Cody 50 with a 125. I beg your pardon.
C-minus 120, Cody 125.
Thank you very much. Al helping us out here. Austin Barnes, monstrous hit. That's 9. And a chance to go 120 here. Freshie could do that without a mark. And thank goodness, because this one's a doozy. Tough with his right to left ball, and he just couldn't find the pocket. Accurate nonetheless. Brian Drago finished with a 133, still riding his red-hot momentum from the previous stream. That's gone for Barnes. Barnes gets his mark 117 plus. Zavalato completes a 9. 2 strikes, 2 spares, 119. Unfortunately, the double strike didn't pay off as much as Freshie wanted it to. Turned out pretty well. Barnes, last ball in the 10th is 5 as the pin skids in front of the head pin, and he ends up with 122. Full scores on your screen now for these 2 lanes, all 8 lanes in action. Holbrook and Smith on your right. Taylor just to your left, Nichols further left. Woodside and Ayotte further left than that on 18 and 17. Jeff Walsh drops 9. Fuller drops 5. On a strike. Still a second ball to come.
All right. Big games out of Josh Daly. Threw a 131. His team's at 45 over through, one completed bowler and 2 halves. They're going to qualify. Ryan Drago with a huge 133 to our left. That's on the Keith Beaupre team with Sean Taylor. They're at 58 over, and they're gonna qualify. That's 58 over their box. Interesting numbers there. Mike Legendre finished with a 95. His team with Jimbo Ayat and Tim Jalbert, they're struggling. They're 11 over through 20 boxes, I guess. And on our right, you saw C- finish with a 128 and a big 125 out of Cody 50. Greg Holbrook right now has 3 spares in a row, and he's moving his team right up the numbers.
Thank you very much, Bob. That's a spare for Walsh, back to back. 3 in the last 4. Fuller just full on the object, in a manner of speaking. He'll go for the safe pins. Not as safe as it appeared, I suppose, but an $8. There you see the scores on your screen. Tim Douglas and Nick Cephalato to go in this 3-man random team event. Head pin 7, triangle number 6 for Walsh. 76 or 7, Fuller strike! 3 and 4. After that big spare on strike that came as Bob Lee was giving us that update. That was Holbrook on lane 23 putting a heck of a bit on his third ball. 118 is his final string. Mark Smith ends up with 108 after the double strike and the 22 on the first one. Back to the action featured 85 through 8. And a big hit for Walsh. Just a shout out from Al and all of us here at Candlepin Bowling Network to Bob Whitcomb, who's out recovering at home from the injury, the foot injury, if I recall correctly. Bob, the reigning bowler of the year, we miss you, and we look forward to seeing you back on the lanes in a matter of time. Greg Holbrook finished with 118 and Mark Smith 108. Second ball coming up. Walsh nails his spare. Plank in front of the 10-pin after a thunderous first ball. Fuller, head pin, jumps around everything. Good grief. 8 on the strike. Plays the wood perfectly. That's 10. Brings up the century in the 9th. Taking a look around. Sean Taylor to our immediate left, 105 and a ball. Matt Nichols, 105 and a ball in the 10th, both of them. And I'll have to rely on Bob Lee for the rest, folks. We're doing our best. That is a 2-pin punch-out for Jeff Walsh, if you can believe that. And a strike for Fuller. That's his 3rd strike. Imagine if any of them were consecutive. Big string working. Walsh already has 1 2-box, does not want another one. Got his pin accurate. What a great third ball it is. 104. Bob Lee.
All right, big strength from Jimbo Ayat when they needed it. He ended up with a 133. His team is 27 over their box, so with 5 to go, they need Tim Jalbert to come alive. To that 27 should be right near that mark. 27 over their box. Dave Barber squad's in good stead there at 51 over, coming down to the line. Justin Waters' team's struggling right in front of us. Fuller
on a strike, Phil, in the 10th. He will not get the double.
Okay. The Waters team is going to have to fight. They were 13 over after Matt Nichols put a couple of spares and a 119 on his side. Keith Beaupre's team well ahead of their number. They're over 200. They're 208.
Thanks very much, Bob. We'll keep you updated here. Corey Packard just dished a strike in the 8th to be 79 and a strike, Phil, in 8?
308 through 25 of 30 boxes, I should say. Great.
Thank you. Taylor finished 114. Matt Nichols 119. Baker spare fill. Head pin! Got resounding sidewall action. Wants that wood out of the way, and it will disappear. Douglas has a dastardly leave. Well, it could be worse. It's 7-8. 7 on the drop for Baker. Baker on 3 consecutive marks has had 20, 20, and 17 in his last 3. Accurate, but the 8 pin doesn't go. Douglas trying to sweep the wood, and he got it. Tim Douglas had a 1 drop on the last spare fill, wants to go higher here. Baker a quality 10, that's 86. Remember, the top 4 out of 8 will advance. Apologize, folks. It's been tough to see your comments just on my end here as I try to juggle all the action here. But thank you so much for everyone who's been liking and commenting on our video. Much appreciated. So, Kev, I see you on YouTube. We wish we had this everywhere as well, I tell you. Pro Series creates such a great atmosphere here. Any high-level pro caliber tournament does. And brings out a great community. Douglas on the spare is 9. He'll be happy with that. Someone said we need an adult as Deadwood shoots forward. Any pin that shoots forward, the pin plate by at least a foot has to be removed, and Matt Nichols is the man on the spot. I mostly love the sense of humor of these guys. That was hysterical. That's Beaupre on lane 20 who just dropped 9. He's currently on 93 through 8 after having a 3-mark start, but he'll have a chance for a 4th. To the right of the featured lanes is Corey Packard, who's mixing it out. I think he's been bowling a lot better than his 94 through 4. Baker 3-2 split doesn't quite go. Didn't get on the object, I'm afraid. Douglas, the plank drive straight back for him. He's back to back. Quintessential mark chaining. Getting the 9 on 1 and a chance to load up another mark. Baker, good principled out. Go for the safer pins on the right side. Definitely safe in this case. 95 through 7, 25 over par. If par was assumed to be 10 a box. Okay, 36, 39. Corey Packard invoking Murphy's Law here. His team finishes with a 339. A team of Cody, Mark, and Dan finished up with a 335. 339 and 335 thanks to Al for getting those scores. Hey, Tim Douglas got a big hit. That's 9 again, and he's truly on a heater right now. Baker's got a diamond. He's accurate and he crushes it. Douglas again. 19-19, spare working. So we're over those 330-something scores we just heard reported earlier to our right. I see a 365 to our left by the team, headed by Keith Beaupre, and a 325 by Justin Waters' squad. Baker, strike on spare. Douglas has 7 on the spare fill. We'll put that on the board, and here's Bob Lee once again.
Tim Jalbert came through with 4 spares in a row down the line in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th for a 130, an 81 half when their team needed. They probably just launched into they're at 59 over, 359.
We're the last lanes in progress right now. Tim Douglas got a 9 here. You see our current scores right now, 356 through 9, 348, and a strike working through 9. Still time for a double strike to do its magic. Head pin. Got 6. Not Double is not to be, but good count. And a reasonable chance for a spare, albeit a tricky one. Douglas, mirror image situation, although wood looks a little foul, or is it behind the 2-pin? Hard to see from this angle. Baker. Not there, so he'll load the strike up with 7. Chance to go 140 if he gets one more pin here. Douglas lost it to the left, I'm afraid. So you'll see the totals here. You can add just a few more to that. Baker did not get the pins on the end. So with a 7, Douglas picks up 10. How is that? 366 to 366 to 362 on just these 2 lanes alone we see here.
Yeah, this course should make it.
Bob Lee is feverishly calculating, and we're gonna.
Well, they're tearing down the scores, so we have to see the officials. Dave Barber in front of us is actually running the tournament, as well as he just completed a 139. By the way, his team should easily qualify. He was over in the. He was over 6. We'll keep our camera on Dave. He might be announcing in a moment.
Sounds good. So we'll keep it here, folks. We're going to have results as soon as possible. Dave is carefully calculating, and we will see soon enough who will be the top 4 teams after all is said and done. The scores, unfortunately, came down from the monitors, so we don't yet have a view on who has prevailed just yet, but we have a pretty good idea. In the meantime, I will show you the final scores here. Excuse me. That's more like it.
There's a 56 and a 66 here, and Bobber's team that has
The cut is 362, so both of our featured lanes will make it through to the next round. Shall we keep the stream running here, Bob?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, folks. We're calling it audible here.
I believe that means that the team of Jalbert and Ayat and Legendre will fall short. They had scores of they were at 58. They're out. That means also that Justin Waters' team is not going to make that cut. Keith Beaupre's team is easily in, and so there's 2 other teams maybe on our right. I don't know what the other 2 teams are going to be that didn't make it.
So the stream is a bit in suspended animation right now as we investigate the finalists, but we can say with 362 being the cut that the team of Tim Douglas and Sean Baker will both advance.
Pressure you. Who's the other? Who's the other team? Who's your team? Me, Baker, Walsh.
Keep sharing this video around, folks. We will be starting the round of 4, the semifinals, in just a moment. And it will be another eliminator where the top 2 teams out of 4 will advance.
Both teams on our right did not make it. Two teams on our right did not make it.
So that would be the team with Corey Packard did not make it,
And then the Ayat.
and Danny Harris's team, unfortunately.
The team, and then the Nichols. Yeah. So these are your 2 teams. Cody, the other team that didn't make it, Danny Harris, Mark Smith, Cody 50 fell short. Looks like they were in the 537 zone, and Craig Holbrook, Corey Packard, and Corrado County fell short at 350. So
All right, here we go.
Switch to this camera. Switch to this camera.
Of course.
You good? Way right?
You're left. I'm bowling at Sean. We have a similar build that works. Yeah, right.
There you go. The other 2 guys on the left, too. Can you get the 4 lanes?
Yep, now our mic should be. Oops. Now our mic should be working as well. Just making sure our audio settings are good. And we are live and underway. From right to left, you see Nick Zuffalato, Ryan Drago, Josh Daly, and Austin Barnes. keep everything apprised as soon as possible.
Do you want me to just zone in on the match on the right, or do you want both matches?
No, this is fine. Both matches, please.
You need to widen your view then.
All right. This would be... Oh, I see what's happened here. Apologies, folks. They've called an audible on us, and we will do the best we can here. Oops. This is Zuffalato on lane 20. Got the 6 box.
Thought I'd be in the middle though, didn't you?
Actually picks up another spare there. He's at 31 and a ball through 3. Let's see if I can catch up with everything. Oh, the score's here. He's on 31 and a ball through 3. Ryan Drago currently on 17 through 2. Making a 10 box for 27. Daly, you see, filling a strike on lane 2.
Widen it or
This might be fine.
let's get Trey. Yeah.
This is rough, sorry. Three, 9. Oops. There we go. At long last, folks, I've gotten myself situated. We jump in at Zuffalato looking at a third ball out here, the dreaded 1, 4, 6, 7, 10. Drago, you see with a 4-7. He hit the 4 and didn't get it. Top 2 out of 4 will advance in this Eliminator format. Nope. And unfortunately, Zuffalato loses 5 more pins and will go to 39 through 4. Drago in every object pin gets 37. About pop of the wood. Josh Daly on a 66 half as far as I can see. Checkmark left for Zuffalato. Getting heavy encouragement from Walsh.
On the far left match, you can put a split
You're
screen.
just truncating this one just a little bit. It's okay.
Well, I can do it, but I can get the left match and you get the right match with this camera.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Zuffalato gets a 48 half. And Ryan Drago 145.
On your far left, you might not have seen him. Austin Barnes had a 58, and Josh Daly with a 66. Throwing 45 miles an hour right now. Austin at 38 miles an hour out of the hand.
58 and 66 are currently the far two left lanes favored. We'll keep it here. You see Ed Woodside. Lane 18. Sean Taylor on lane 19 on the featured lanes. And Jeff Walsh on lane 20. These are the top four advancees. Hey, what a good shot by Walsh. 2-4-10 collected. Taylor's got a dastardly 7-10 to deal with. There is wood in between. Has to shoot it one way or the other. Just doesn't go. Round of 4 coverage underway. We will update the title as soon as possible. Walsh got the head pin at 7. And 17 in the first. Taylor, after an 8 in the first, gets triangle number 2. Triangle converts. Walsh goes back to back. Taylor against the 2-4, just wide.
He had a real drinking problem.
Woodside at 19 through 2. I don't see any marks on Sean Baker's side yet either. Walsh 8. Strike for Sean Taylor. Walsh has 3 in a row. 17, 18, and another spare. And he's dragging his team right back into it, with Sean Baker left to go behind him and Keith Beaupre left to go behind Sean Taylor. One string from each of the 3 fellas. Walsh drops 9. Taylor drops 6. Walsh has been increasing every step of the way. 17, 18, and 19. Taylor's still feeling the strike. He's got 3, 5, 6, 7. Walsh wood betrays him. It just spun out on him, I'm afraid. Taylor's solid pins. No mark, but he gets 18 in the third. Walsh threw a perfect 4 frames, 64 through 4, and Taylor's got 9. Walsh is 2. Taylor's got 8. Now let's take a look at the 2-5. Walsh against the half Worcester. Good pins. Good action. 5 sweeps and the 4 drops also. A 4 mark half for Jeff Walsh. 74 and a ball. Taylor collects 10 in the end for a 54 half. Take a quick look-see here. see scores of 115 and 121, each with a mark working. 115 and 121, right?
Yeah, Greg. So your team right in front of you there, Freshie, Walsh, and Baker, they're the leaders at 123 and a ball. Followed by Daly, Woodside, and Barber behind Daly 66. Woodside just put up a 49. They're at 15 and a ball, 115 and a ball after two. Fuller put up a 54. They're at 112, and the Taylor Drago team appears to be at 90. I think they're at 99. No, that's not possible. Taylor put up a 74. They're No, that's the Baker team. That's in front of you there.
Yeah, it's the left side team with
Yep.
Yep,
I
that's
wrote it
Drago
down-
and
I wrote it down correctly.
Drago and Taylor combined for 99.
Yep.
Some scores to update here. This is Sean Baker on your right side. He started with an 8 box, and Beaupre with a 10. Keith Beaupre, I should introduce him as. Baker is a good look at this one, 4'8". Wood carries through.
Yeah, over there. Like he sucks.
And Beaupre carries the Wood through. And escapes from the half. Worcester with a 9. Top 2 out of 4 teams will advance. We started with a 5-string qualifier. That gave us the top 24. Then the top 8, middle 8, and bottom 8 got randomly assembled into teams. You saw it live on Candlepin Bowling Network, albeit under a deceptive title. We'll get that changed in a moment. Then a round of 8, and now this round of 4, where you're seeing action like this. Sean Baker, 9 drop. Beaupre, 7. That count for Baker all on a spare. And another spare back-to-back. Doesn't get a big round of applause. Beaupre spares. No major reactions from either team. Very businesslike about the whole affair. They know they were slightly behind at the last check. Beaupre got the team's second mark, so they'll need some more help here, but Keith had the chance to create some momentum. Sean Baker, meanwhile, is on back-to-back. 9 in the last fill. Washes out a bunch on this one. He's got the 4 horsemen. Does he? Yes, he does. The head pin does stand up. Beaupre takes out 7. You see that total rising for the team I have under the red header. And Beaupre 7 fill as well. 4 horsemen left. Nope. Both featured bowlers hitting the curtain here. To your left is Dave Barber, and to the further left is Tim Douglas. All on top of the team. That was Barber with that strike. He just got that atop a spare. And he's on a 70 plus a strike half. So, scores are correct as you see them. Baker trying to get it started again, and did he ever? The extra pin action for Sean Baker delivers 60 and a strike at the half. Beaupre got head pin and gets absolutely nothing interesting to look at. 4, 6, 9, 10 if I'm looking at that correctly. And a 54 half. Let's take a look-see here. See the scores on your screen. Team Sean Baker is heating up now. check around the other scores real quick. Be right back. And the scores I see elsewhere, folks, are a 181 and a 186. Just had to look myself, Bob. 181 and 186, I believe, at the half.
Right, at the unofficial halftime scores, the Barber team's in the lead at 185. Barber finished with a strike after a 70 half. They're in first place. Second place at 182 is that Baker team right on the far right. They're at 182. The Douglas team on the far left is at 181, 1 pin difference. And Keith Beaupre's team's at 153. They're about 28 off the pace. So it's real close.
Yeah. I think Keith Beaupre's team needs the most help right now, but even there's still plenty of time for that to change course.
Yeah, Keith had a strike in the fifth there. So a double on that would make all the difference.
It's actually under Sean Baker's name. It's deceptive. That strike will go under Zuffalato's name.
Sorry about that.
Computer's been a little peculiar, but everyone's keeping it straight. Josh Daly's begging for pins to push on lane 18. It didn't go for him. Drago has a 3-2 split to contend with. His team needs to get something started. Just doesn't go on the 2-pin, I'm afraid. And a 9. So 1 strike and 1 spare for Drago, Taylor, and Beaupre, excuse me. And 2 strikes and 8 spares. 3 of those marks working. In fact, every single bowler is on a mark. For Team Zuffalato, Walsh, and Baker. You see the outcome of Zuffalato's first strike ball, 2, 4, 7, and 10. Drago, the hay bale, 2, 4, 7, 8. What's available to push it all in? Whether he uses it or not is another question. Zuffalato gets it. Spare on strike. Drago can't get it to go. I fear that may be the beginning of the end for them, but still plenty of time. As he collects a 9. Consider that all the bowlers have rolled a 5-string qualifier. Ryan Drago himself has rolled a bonus string because he had to fight against A.J. Stockton for that 24th place and a 1-string showdown that neither of them were expecting to roll. And then we've had the round of 8 and now this round of 4. So this is Drago's 8th string of bowling today. Zuffalato got a diamond. Drago gets the 3-6. No, he doesn't. The 3 and 7. I was on a spare for Zuffalato. I forgot to update the smudge there. 6 fill, 93 through 8. Missed the diamond in the neighborhood and got pins. Drago collects. One beacon of hope. He's been pinning better than a pin a box, but needs some good count here to jumpstart his team in the late going. 9 for Zuffalato. There's his 102. Barnes and Daly are on 17 and 18 as you see them here. Nick Zuffalato's got 2, 4, 3, 6, 10. Drago a similarly full delivery. It's that less the 4. And I'm afraid to say he's going to end up with 6 despite an accurate follow-up shot. The wood was too deep for Nick. Drago sends the wood backwards somewhat. Josh Daly has just concluded a 137 string. Barnes just crossed 100 or so. So he'll be in the 100 aughts. Zavalata will finish with a 7 box and a 109. And Ryan Drago finishes with a 9 box and a 98. Keep you apprised of the scores as we have them. Jeff Walsh, that was on a spare fill. This is 5. Having filled his 4th of 5 marks. Sean Taylor, coincidentally in the same green you see on your screen, with a half Worcester.
It's like pass interference on a hill here.
Good bid. The bowlers have been separated by just a few pins, and this, even in a 4-team event, that's crowded enough for the pins to matter. Or very easily so. Walsh got 9, and so did Sean Taylor for a 63 through 6, and here's Bob Lee.
Right, we had a great side. Josh Daly finished with a 137. His team's in great position at 55 over through 20 boxes. Austin Barnes struggled. He had a 41 on the back half, a 99 finish. His team's now 22 over at 222 through 20 boxes. I believe Drago just had a good side.
What a bid by Walsh.
Yeah.
And by Taylor. Go on.
That's right. And over here on your right, I believe you have your leader. Your leading team's going to be Daly's squad at 55 over. And you've been following these 2 matches, so you know how they stand relative to their box.
I think, yeah, that sounds good to me, indeed. Based on what I've been seeing. I mean, you can see all this color over here for Team Baker. You've been painting a lot of marks.
That's right. That was Freshie that threw the 109, right?
That's correct. And Walsh just threw a hammer, and that's his 5th mark. 108 in the 8th.
Yeah. So the Baker team just moved out, opened up a
good
about
spare.
a 20-pin lead for 2nd place right now. The Baker team. Between Baker's team and Douglas team.
Thank you, Bob. Sean Taylor with a late spare. You do not count out these talented bowlers until the last moment, but he'll need a lot more than that. Walsh has a 2nd ball to come. He needs that after the lemon drop on the 1st. 2-4-7-9 for Sean Taylor, all on the spare. Much better. This is all loading up on the strike. Excuse me, 10-pin, you were hit. All right, 8 fill it is. 116. That was Ed Woodside picking up a dandy on lane 18. Walsh 9 and Taylor 10, and in a matter of time we will find out who our finalists are. Walsh on 125 through 9. Pins mix, and he's got a chance to mark one more time. Taylor a good 9 drop as well. Wood in front to trip him up. There it is. It deflects away. Taylor converts. Much friendlier wood there, and it deflects the ball in. Walsh finishes a fantastic 134.
Oh, yeah. So I'm adjusting the pants, too.
Woodside has been good all day. He finishes up with 117.
Yeah. And I licked the fumble lot now, too.
Josh Daly's 137. Taylor finishes with a 7 drop here, 115. Great finish, 2 marks in the last 3 boxes. And now it's on to Keith Beaupre and Sean Baker. Sean Baker on a strike.
Yeah, I do.
And then the shirt.
Oh, yeah, fix the shirt. Yep.
Just things that you do that you just.
And the funny thing.
Every one of these boulders, 90% of them are
Oh, yeah.
every time.
Baker strike Phil. Just wide, great action off the wall, and he's got an 8 drop. Bob.
All right, so Fuller just finished with a 131. Did a good job, but that Douglas team is at 40 over. And your team right in front of you, Baker was at 43, so a 3-pin lead, but there's balls at play. As Sean was working on a strike, right?
Yeah, that's spare on strike just now.
So just now that you just picked up 10. Timmy Douglas is throwing on your far left, and he's got a spare in the 6th. So I'll try to keep you updated as soon as I can.
Sounds good, Bob. Interest in the entire field as we talk.
I get something on Wednesday.
Might as well keep the full scoreboard here. It's not getting in the way of anything. 247 for Baker. Loads it up.
And I just waited till she was finished with one. I go, I don't care.
And he is on course for 127 already.
Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. They kind of
Beaupre 247 doesn't go. 10-pin stance on the right side. Beaupre has only lost 3 pins in his 4 open frames, but only the 1 mark to show for it. Baker mystified how he ended up with a 9 out of that accurate 3rd shot. Beaupre gets 10.
11 to be up there by 2 on a Saturday.
So Baker can pin out a 369. Dave Barber is suddenly starting to go off here. He's got 114 and a ball in the 8th. Big hit! And that is a lot of channeled frustration for Beaupre right directly to the pins. Tremendous hit, 84 plus. Baker gets another mark, and that is 5 marks in 8 boxes for Sean Baker. 106 plus and a chance to go 130 something. Tim Douglas just dumped a strike on lane 17. Baker happy to get 6 out of that. Pretty good. And Beaupre just doubled and is nonchalant about it.
No. Well, they're struggling. They were 13 over going into this, but Timmy Douglas also just threw a strike. He's got 2 spares, but with 5 fills. Baker on your lane here has had 2 spares, so he had a 13-pin lead a moment ago. But Douglas, if Douglas can fill that spare with that strike with another strike or a spare, it's going to be right back in. Baker.
Spare chance doesn't go.
Okay.
I'll probably start a new broadcast for the final so that everyone can have a viral moment to share. 8 boxers Zuffalato is 120 through 9.
All right.
Can't wait to bring
7 on the first ball from Douglas on the far left.
We'll keep it updated. Baker got 8. Beaupre is on a double, and out of nowhere, the team has a little bit of life. Is it too late? Doesn't matter. Beaupre's going to give it his all. He destroys the head pin, but only 5 pins in the process, and gets a 25 in the 8th. Baker completes a spare. And that's a 6-mark string for Sean Baker. It ended up being 7 for Beaupre in the end. So count that 17 and 9 on his fills respectively. 120. Baker's last fill in the 10th is 7 for a 137
357 finish for the Douglas team on the far left. What do you got?
One above, one below. Keith Mowbray ends up with a 125 all told.
And then the Daly team with a 139 finish for Barber. So they're in. That means the Douglas team is going to fall short, right?
Yep, one second. I'm just updating everything here.
71-80. That was an 80 score from the Baker team.
Yep.
380. So 380 is going to go and that one's close to 400.
So team Dave Barber, Josh Daly, and Ed Woodside, you're saying?
Yeah, they're at 139.
Go ahead, talk to his face now that he's here. Come on.
17
Yeah,
is
talking
gonna be
smack to him.
393.
Talk now.
Sounds good. And commiserations to Tim Douglas, Jim Leon, and it was an Austin Barnes.
Brian Fuller Jr.
Brian Fuller Jr., excuse me.
Yes.
All right, we're going to cut the stream here. We're going to go to finals in just a moment, and we will be right back.
Cool.